Hi everyone. This is Speech 140, the value debate. My name is Alex Ruiz, and first I want to thank you guys for giving the time to look over my arguments with me. So the proposition is for people between 20 to 30 years old, being married is more valuable than not being married. And I'm going to start off with some definitions here. I'm going to define marriage as, or I'm going to define marriage as being legal matrimony. That includes all of the taxation and legal obligations, the joining of finances. The general traditional idea of marriage as being a legal union of two individuals into financial and legal obligations. I'm going to define between being 20 and 30 as being young adults. I think that's a pretty reasonable assessment. From 20 and 30, you're a young adult, you know. And then finally, more valuable. I'm going to define being more valuable as being optimal for financial and emotional growth. We can see some terminal values here from that. Terminal value one is going to be quality of life. Quality of life, if you're getting married at a younger age, or if you're getting married at an older age, sorry, or it's out of your young adult phase. I'm going to say between 30 onward. It's going to be more valuable for your emotional and your financial growth, and your quality of life is going to increase. And also number two, we're going to say terminal value is of collectivism. So it's going to be better for the whole of the marriage. Obviously, a marriage is a union of two people, two individuals to create a group. But that's just by definition of a regular marriage. And the the optimal path for financial growth and stability and emotional growth and stability. If you get married at a later age, it's going to be better for the collective group. So this terminal value idea of collectivism is going to be important. And lastly, number three, terminal value. We're going to go for economic prosperity. So you know, with marriage, we can have certain things like divorce. Divorce is some of the most costly things that one can go through in a financial situation in America today. And also providing for each other, providing for one another. You're going to have a better opportunity to do that if you get married after the age of 30. So, or out of your young adult phase. So, with all that being said, I'm going to move on to my points. My point one is I'm going to tag this as emotional development. So emotional development is still ongoing between the ages of 20 to 30. Most scientists say that our brains are still developing up until about 25. That includes mental, emotional, spiritual, all those kinds of things. Your brain is still not fully developed mentally for up until you're 25. And so, when you're entering into something like a union of marriage, you want to be going in there with your the best thing possible. You're going through a lot of changes. People change drastically between the ages of 20 to 25, and then again from 25 to 30. And in those drastic change, in those times of emotional, mental, economic changes, those can affect a marriage. And a lot of times, with marriage being, it's a delicate institution, you want to keep that going. You want to have the best chance possible mentally being developed correctly. Point number two is going to be negative impacts on personal finances. So it's not really good to enter into a marriage when you're still growing at these periods of financial, mental growth, because you can ultimately get divorced, and that's going to cause some negative financial downfalls, as well as there's some studies coming out that saying that youthful marriage is associated with lower educational attainment, and someone's income is directly correspondent to their level of educational attainment, generally speaking. Point three is that stable marriages are more likely to happen after 30, when you're fully developed mentally, when you've got a clear set of goals, and you are you're stable in your economics and in your emotional stability. And this happens after 30. That numbers say. Stable marriages are more likely to happen at 30. So so overall, I think with the points of emotional development, negative impacts on finances, and marriage stability after a certain age, the proposition for people getting married between the ages of 20 and 30, it's not going to be a very good opportunity for growth and for stability.